Guys, I wanted to give you an update on a video I made recently about Arma 4. I'm not a huge YouTuber, and Reality Gaming certainly aren't the biggest channel on YouTube. We just tend to give a fair perspective about what's going on without the sensationalism and trying to stick to the facts here. Although, guys, this is not a journalistic channel and everything that's mentioned is just opinion and speculation. So, getting that out of the way, recently Drewski made a video regarding Arma 4 with an update and some information, and I really just wanted to reply to that. If you don't have the time to watch his entire video, I'd suggest checking it out. I'm just gonna discuss a few of the things that were mentioned and comment on a few of the statements that were made, just to see if I can give my own opinion and put this whole thing regarding the speculation to Arma 4 more or less to bed once and for all. So here's the update, guys. You all know that Arma 3 has been in development for the last 7 years, right? So BI are still working alongside companies to produce DLCs as third-party community content, and they're also updating the game. It's just had its 2.0 release. So I think we can all say that they haven't forgotten about the game like some studios do with their titles and moved on to the next best thing. They are really supporting Arma 3. And we have been incredibly patient as a community. And that's the truth. I mean, Drewski references to this. The patience of the Arma community worldwide is enormous. But I do feel like our patience is essentially tied to the game and not to any foreign sense of loyalty to a studio or an individual. We really are community bound and bound to a platform. And that is where all of this patience comes from. The community content and long life is a good thing. With regards to the mod content, at the moment, Drew mentions we've got the 30,000 player split demographic, trying to break that down in terms of numbers, where those players are based, when they are active, in terms of who is a potential candidate for a milsim unit or a life server or some other means of playing Arma within a community. When you start breaking those numbers down, they're very small, very, very small. So yeah, we're coming into 2020, and it's 7 years of the same platform, 7 years of Arma 3, and we've been hearing so much about this new Enfusion engine, and everyone was talking about, wow, we've got this new engine, you know, we're working on DayZ. Look at all of the progress that's been made with DayZ. Look at all the amazing leaps and bounds we've made with regards to lag and removing all of the problems that Arma 3 had in terms of the clunky gameplay. But then you realize there's no vehicles, and there's just no features like anything that's in Arma 3. And as they try to add these features to DayZ within the development cycle, the game is just infantile in terms of where it should be. So there's all new problems with this Enfusion engine. There's something big going on behind the scenes, which is stopping all of the content that we should be having for Arma 4. And I believe that just as a community, and almost being systematically involved with the whole process of keeping our eyes and ears to the ground, we just all know that there's no Arma 4, because if there was, we would have heard something about it. I put in my last video right at the end, being optimistic, that wouldn't it be amazing if they had the secret lab somewhere or some kind of bunker where they just knuckled down. But because of the development cycle of Arma 3, the way it was launched, and if you look at the way Squad's been launched in other games, they're essentially launched and then beta form, alpha form, supported, funded, and it just gives them a lot of time to sit there and utilize the community aspect, which essentially become third-party developers of the game, beta testers essentially, and they go in and play all the content and fine-tune all the bugs and actually make the thing playable. And this takes a considerable amount of time. And unless Arma 4 is just the same engine and they don't need to do any testing on the new Enfusion engine, we aren't involved in that process at the moment, so we can consider there is no Arma 4. All the social media channels, guys, I mean, at the moment BI are producing products, and I mentioned in the last video Vigor and some other products that BI had made. As I've said, I didn't do any research into that. I didn't have any interest in what those products are. But I do know that they're a distraction from a game studio that I love that should be producing Milsim and Arma 4 content, in my opinion. There are producers there are people that are working at BI that have made decisions, and I just really hope they're all the right decisions. And companies, sometimes they make mistakes, and that's just the way things go. We've just got to be there as a community and enjoying the product to support the company and not drag it through the mud. And I think that's really important. It's been a while now since we've had any big news, and as I've said, anything that drops on social media, like Drewski said, it's just going to get flamed about Arma 4. Any new feature in any new platform like DayZ, Vigor, or anything else, people just aren't interested. The whole core community is behind Arma series, the most vocal part at the very least. And they're always going to be out there creating the memes. And, I can't imagine how draining this must be on the developers of Arma 3, the community managers, and anyone that's forward-facing from the company, because people just aren't interested in anything else at the moment, but they don't have anything about Arma 4 to give us, I assume, which is, puts you in a big predicament there. We've got 2020, revolutionary new tech, future games. We were hoping, as I said, that we would have had just like a trailer or something, but there's been nothing. It's been a while since we've had any big news. On the grapevine, Drewski was talking about how he's got like a core audience there, and they feed him information about Arma 4 and Arma 3 because he's very popular and prolific, and he's a great YouTuber. So he's got this great community, and he was talking about the facts in regards to delays in making Arma 4, which we must agree have happened, or something along the lines of something being delayed. I can't imagine why BI wouldn't have been wanting to develop Arma 4 up until now. I'm sure they have their reasons. He was talking about lead developers and project leads. Arma 3 from Vigor had left the studio. Ashbourne Games has been set up, yada yada yada. For me personally, I'm not a journalist. I don't think Drewski is either. I think we're just trying to feed the Arma community with content and some information about Arma 4. Look, we can all dig as deep as we want to as individuals, but me personally, talking about junior developers leaving studios, creating new studios, THQ Nordic and this kind of stuff, for me it's inconsequential. I really am very interested in the growth of BI and it doing well, and who's joining it and what they're doing. Best of luck to those guys, but we know that BI is the king here, and we'll just continue to pump out that content. Looking at the release of all the big platforms, all the AAA titles, Cyberpunk, which is coming out recently, Death Stranding, which was a long time coming, all of these AAA titles, which are really things that we wait for, they do take a long time to develop, 3 to 5 years, some of the games, before we'll actually, get involved and think it's of quality standard of some of the other titles that have been developed. But without any trailers or anything, there's it's not just going to be a cold release. There's just no content. So there's lots of chat about VBS being talked about in the background, rumors of the non-disclosure agreements that Drewski was talking about with regards to the Canadian military guys that came on board. I like all of this conjecture. I like all of this, guerrilla journalism. I got information from here, I'm getting emails, I'm putting it all together. I like it. I think it creates speculation. I think it's healthy. But at the same time, it's like Drew said, you just have to take it as it is. It's just all speculation and spitballing, and we really have nothing in terms of information at the moment. The old engine, which Arma 3 was made on, is going to be really difficult to get people involved in the new engine. If there is a new engine, Enfusion, and the old Arma 3 developers have left, it probably is because they contain in their minds a wealth of knowledge about the previous Arma engine they were using, and it's even very difficult for them to convert that standard over without polluting it in some way with that knowledge they have already. Probably want a fresh team working on a fresh engine. The way that Arma was created was very unusual, I think, from the ground up, and it created a lot of things they couldn't double back on or backpedal on. So maybe they just want a different framework moving forward. Nobody knows about what these staff changes and what's going on with the main engine, but we do know that something is certainly in development. Talking about things like, Arma's very similar to Squad. We just need an infantry map. We just need this. We just need that. For me personally, I'm in love with the engine and the way it feels. I can play a lot of different platforms and mods in Arma 3. And yeah, I don't think it's anything like Squad. I don't enjoy Squad. I know that Squad optimally would like to inherit all of the quality content and milsim players that are in the Arma camp. And I know that some people like Drew and other people, they essentially are just content providers, so they just play all of these games and they've got a great opinion on all of them. But some of us are just core Arma players, and that's really all we play, and that's all we intend to play. And yeah, there is a kind of loyalty there, I guess, strange sense of, you know, belonging, community. But yeah, I don't see that reflected in the video, and I think that that's worth mentioning, and that's what a lot of us are hanging in there for.
Shot in the ass.
So, you know, mentioning Arma 3.5 could carry on the franchise. I made a joke, I think in a previous video, about Apex being 3.5. We could have had something very similar to that outside of Contact, the great single player storyline. It brought the map. We could have had an Arrowhead / Apex / type of add-on, which is like a 0.5 update where they just look at the engine, trim it up a little bit, add a really nice map on the quality of Altus or Tanoa. Livonia is nice, it's not bad at all. They could have had that, and then just really like a new faction with some units and some other content, just to give us all a big update that broke lots of mods, gets all the modders coming back and having to update their mods with new content. Just really to shake the community up a little bit if there was no Arma 4 on the horizon. Personally, I don't think Contact did that. So yeah, we really could do with a big DLC, but we want Arma 4. And the Arma 4 hype is very, very real. I mean, there are people out there that would pay, I think as Drewski said, £40 for a game. And even if it was 10% completed and we could start getting involved in the development cycle this early on, there would be lots of whining about the whole process, but you would fulfill a massive hole. And yeah, we would be involved in helping you develop the game. Development from the community, we've had no involvement, so no Arma 4. The opening of the market means that, as I've said before, Squad and other games are trying to move into that area. Perhaps if there was a studio that developed something on the scale of Arma and released it in the next 2 years, yeah, maybe they could take the crown. But to be honest, it's just too big a deal, and the market and niche market is just too small. Nobody really wants to look after our weirdo milsim communities that are all fractured off using different mods and different content. It's very hard to get these guys to contribute towards anything outside of their own spheres or their own little worlds. It's very unlike AAA title-based communities where they can leverage them. So, you know, who wants us but Bohemia? We're stuck together for life, hopefully. The engine to me feels very unique, as I mentioned. We're doing lots of mods, we're using lots of content to create new experiences. Never the same experience twice if you're doing it in the right way within Arma. It's just so versatile. I think most of you know that. Like to think sometimes how I first felt when I played Arma 3. I remember back in the alpha, I've been watching videos from 7 years ago. I'm trying to remember how when people join RG, some of them are coming in because of the sale and just because Arma's available now, it's a bit cheaper and accessible, and how they feel playing Arma for the first time. And I think that the game still brings a feeling of community and a feeling of involvement that nothing else does. So nothing else to add, guys. Quick update on Arma 4. Hope you're all well out there. As I mentioned before, without any hype at the moment, the emphasis amongst everybody in the community and from BI is that there is no Arma 4. Have a great day, guys. Everybody take care out there. Be safe, be well. Andrews signing off.